let them know. For parents of the students that were just here, you do not have to stay unless you choose to do so.
Giles, I think Mom will come here with All right. Thank you guys so much. See you tomorrow. And if anybody else is worried about this,
Thank you guys. Thanks so much for letting us
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So you just want to let the parents know.
Thank you. We just go right down to the agenda. Administrator, Dr. Mallon.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank our Spanish teachers for the wonderful job that they've done. This is an outstanding program. In its second year, kids are advancing like never before, and it speaks volumes to the dedication that this board has in the programs, the people we've chosen to teach the courses, and it's only getting better and better. As Lisa had stated, we had 6 students that were in Spanish 2 at the beginning of this school year at the high school. We have 40 kids that are going to be in Spanish 2, which just is changing the program, not only here, but for the high school, for opportunity for the kids and the students. And so I'm losing my concentration a little bit with the boys, but I'm going to work through it. Additionally, I'd like to also announce, and this is on the agenda, later in the agenda, I should say, that Dr. Jennifer Ban is going to be taking a position at Pleasantdale School as the Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. And as I sent the board in an email, and as I told Jennifer, it speaks volumes about the great programs that we have put in place. And when I say the programs that we've put in place, we've put in a co-teaching program that is far better than ever before in our special education classrooms, in the K through 2 classroom. We've put in place a Spanish program as the one we have basically stated right here tonight. Additionally, we have a curriculum review cycle that is a 5-year cycle where we have different parts of the curriculum. We're looking at assessments, we're looking at the actual programs, and we're designing programs that really are in line with the standards that have been bestowed upon us by the state. And I can go on and on and on. So at this point in time, I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate Dr. Ban in her new position. I'd like to also share with the board that we appreciate the fact that you recognize that she wants to aspire to be something other than a principal. So the investment that you've made in this position, and if we could just take a moment and just recognize Dr. Ban, that would be additionally, on the agenda that's later on, we have a proposal for a staffing plan. And as I shared with the board, our goal is the $750,000 marker. So in our ad hoc deficit reduction plan that we've submitted to the state, we have to submit a plan where we reduce expenses by $750,000 in the first year, and by quite possibly another $850,000. So the staffing plan that we have here tonight, mathematically, with respect to the number of 750, meets that expectation. And so what I'm asking the board is 2 things. Number one, asking for permission to start the assignment of teachers on where they will be teaching, because we have a contractual obligation to let a teacher know by April 15th, right, by April 15th. Keep in mind that April 15th is a Saturday, so we're going to inform them on the 13th. We're going to let them know of their assignment. And there are positions that we're going to have to fill that we've basically labeled as vacant. And so we'll need to post those positions so we can start the process, of interviewing and then hiring in a timely manner. And so the good thing is we have ample time before we actually are in a position to hire. So we have some time to post, and we have some time to plan. With that being said, I'm also going to announce that Dr. Michelle, or Mrs. Michelle Guzik, has chosen to be the principal at Lee Elementary. She has chosen to be at Lee Elementary in and discussions I've had with Michelle, this is right in her wheelhouse. Right in her wheelhouse. She knows elementary education like nobody I've ever met before. She knows the kids, and she knows the parents very, very well. And so she's going to fit seamlessly into this model. There's no doubt in my mind. She's going to be exemplary, and she's going to make sure that the climate and culture, which is number one, the attitude, the climate and culture is going to be number one. That's the most important, and it comes with relationships. And as we're making this transition to the grade centers, it needs to be about a celebration. We've met with our teachers, we've met with associations. It's a celebration. Remaining positive, knowing that as a whole we are a community. We know that we have people at this table that are tigers for life and lions for life. We get that. But at the same extent, we're starting to transition because the state has abandoned us. The state has abandoned us, and I could say the same for the federal government. It's quite possible that they're going to be able to reduce our funding as well too. So this was a financial decision at the end of the day. Michelle will be the principal at Lee Elementary School, and we'll be posting for a middle school principal, which will be Giles Elementary School. Okay, so I wanted to share that with the board tonight. I want to announce it formally in the open because I think it would be the best format to do that. And that's a little bit of my report for this evening. So are there any questions at this point in time or any clarifications?
For the teachers, for the positions that are open, is that going to be offered to the teachers that were let go, the 17 teachers that were let go first, to try and fill the positions with them? Or are any of those teachers of the 17 part of the plan already, like in there?
Right. We have not included any of the 17 teachers in that plan, and it's to be determined. So we're going to have to repost the position. We're going to make sure that our association is aware of the posting, which will then make our employees aware of it, and they'll have the opportunity to apply for these positions.
But we're not going to give up like first dibs at or anything like that?
I would not take that position. It's to be determined, and we're going to have a process where they're going to have that opportunity to apply, and then based on the need and the qualification, we'll basically either hire or look to the outside.
And then do you plan on riffing any teachers?
At this point in time, in the RIF Joint Committee, our goal is to avoid a RIF, which would be a tenured employee. We're trying to avoid a RIF. We believe that we've positioned ourselves very well, so that may not be the case. But keep in mind, we have to hit the number of $750,000 because that is what the commitment the board has made to the state, and so you cannot deviate from that number. But at this point in time, we feel as if we're in a good position. We're in the process of creating our budget for next year. We believe that we'll have a budget in May for the newly appointed board to look at, and to analyze, and become familiar with. And that's prior to most budgets. Most budgets aren't adopted until the first quarter. And the first quarter, they're not adopted until really it's prior to September is when you have the adoption. But in this particular instance, we're hoping to prepare it in May, and then we'll again address our financial position.
Any other questions for Dr. O'Malley?
I have a question.
We will have an
We'll
answer
have-
questions afterwards.
Yes.
So,
There'll be public participation later now.
great, thank you. Go right to board committees. For policy and development, we have on the agenda to approve the third reading of the update to the policies. Buildings and grounds.
Okay, well, the Buildings and Grounds Committee, we've been really busy lately. We have, Mike and I, who are part of the Buildings and Grounds Committee, met with our extended team members for the first time on March 6th. And just to let the community know who our extended teammates are, we have Rosario Tinarella, Mr. Anthony Cardamone, Mr. Sean Aguilar, and Mike Juvenelli are part of the team that's comprised of now the Buildings and Grounds. And we met for the first time on March 6th. And basically what we did was we took our newly appointed community members through just some different logistical building schematics, just getting them familiar with how we'd like to see our meetings going forward work. And it was a good first meeting. All the newly appointed gentlemen all had some great things to say, and their knowledge on buildings and ground type of background, their knowledge of that will benefit us as we move forward in discussions with our buildings. Then we also met yesterday, March 20th. I do apologize, I don't have the minutes typed up. It's been a busy couple of days, but we went through yesterday, and I'm going to pass out a sheet of paper to all the board members. And basically what's coming around is a layout of Lee School. And we are having discussions currently with the Norwich Park District. And the discussions we're having with them is basically, if you're familiar with the Park District's program here at Lee School, they lease a section of the building, about 9,500 square feet. And currently in the position, the way the school is set up now, there's some commingling, meaning that where their classrooms are set up, there's some interaction with some of our junior high kids. And it can be a little disruptive, it can be a little challenging in passing through the hallways, but for the most part over the years, the Park District and us, we've handled it pretty nicely. So now with going to Great Centers, we are looking at possibly moving the Park District into a central location where they will have access to a specific part of the building, and there will be no interaction with the rest of the students in the school. So it will be completely segmented separately. They'll have their own entrance and exit. There will be no cross mingling of the K through 4 element. It will just strictly be the Park District. So we're proposing, they're currently at 9,500 square feet. We're looking to offer them about 14,390 feet, an additional maybe 5,000 feet if they want, so they can, make adjustments to their program or even add other programs to help, families in the community. I believe Mr. DeSalvo has all the information. We're going to follow up with a Park District committee meeting, which myself and Mr. DiGiulio sit on, and we will have to schedule a meeting where we discuss more in detail this proposal. But right now, the Park District does have the proposal, and they are reviewing it. So when we have our meeting, hopefully we'll know which direction the Park District would like to go. Mike?
That gives us, right now they currently have like 8 rooms, and that'll determine whether or not they want more rooms. At a prior time, they had extra rooms, but we had taken some of them back. But this will, like Pasquale said, segregate them in a certain area. There'll be one access point so that the kids and the parents are not roaming through the school to get around. There's plans of also moving maybe the library here, for them to have, they have to have a certain amount of room to hold certain different classes and stuff, so it might enhance more of their programs. And also, we would be taking away the superintendent's office, but we have access over here. And actually, we were looking at it, and Dr. O'Malley has suggested too, also with the architect, we looked at, there's 3 little offices down over here that would just suit the superintendent's office just fine, which would then, instead of spending all that money on remodeling over at Giles, we would have that extra money to spend on the kids and maybe make some more, and try and make some more access for handicap ramps so that we have more feasibility to bring back more of our students back into the building here.